You're listening to Chillworthy,
a podcast where two best friends discuss mysteries, murders, and anything in between for your enjoyment.
So if you're ready to hear some chilling and unsettling cases, you're in the right place. Happy listening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, Chillworthy, with Talia and Brent.
Hello, everybody.
So it is now, we are into the season post October 1st. It is the month of October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Both our favorite seasons,
Yes,
right? How do I feel about it? I love it.
Right.
If that's what you were going to ask.
It is, yes. The weather, the breeze.
Perfection, chef's kiss.
Crunchy leaves.
Pumpkins.
Everything.
Hay.
Smells. I sent you a nice video yesterday
Absolutely,
of
nice
a hay truck.
Hay truck video.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, I think now that it's been brought to your attention, maybe you do have a little bit more of appreciation for hay.
I don't. I was thinking about
Damn.
that yesterday. I can't say I do, man. I
You don't like the smell of it?
just scratched my face. Yes, I do. But because it reminds me of like childhood, years that I was around horses, like that's what it reminds me of.
Okay, so what? Isn't that you? What about it? You like hay. You don't have to be ashamed.
I don't know. I don't feel strongly pulled towards that statement, that belief. You know?
I know.
Speaking of sort of things that, like what hay is to you. I was going to say, I don't love sweet stuff. I do like I have my favorites of sweet things, but typically I'm more like savory, salty type of things. But I love maple, as you know.
Oh, right.
And I think it's a travesty that you basically don't see that anywhere in terms of like getting coffee out, any sort of warm beverage flavoring. Maple is not typical. If you go to a coffee shop, like a small business, privately owned coffee shop, they will have usually maple options, which is delightful, but not usually like an all year round available flavor. And then when you go to like a larger conglomeration sort of place, maple is nowhere to be seen. And I think it's awful.
You're telling me Starbucks does not have maple?
I
don't mean all year round.
Ever.
Okay.
The last time they had it was years ago, like, my God, over 10. And it was, I don't know if they had it for a while and I just somehow always missed it. But the season that I found it, never to be seen again. And same with Dunkin', if I'm not mistaken, which that's not obviously like my favorite coffee. And maybe not. I was going to say another place, but I think I'm making that up. So yeah, it's sad.
Well, you could just get it yourself.
Well, you're correct. The thing with that though is maple tea, yes, and it's been lovely when I have found it. Maple coffee is almost always like maple bourbon, maple pecan. I can't find a maple coffee.
Okay, what I meant was like just to put maple syrup in your coffee. But
tried it, not terribly fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, if any of the listeners have any suggestions as to help Talia get more maple in her life, right. Please let us know.
Yes, please.
I'm sure there's some nice stuff on Amazon.
I have looked, man. I've looked.
We'll see about that.
All right. Now, I would like to talk about fall Halloween movies that are a must watch for you every season. I have my list right here for myself all ready to spew out.
It's really only one. I mean, it's just Hocus Pocus. That's a must.
Right.
Everything else is a bonus.
Right.
I can't say like every year I need to watch Casper.
That's on my list.
Right.
I can't believe you're not going to say another one that we both love.
I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about Scream.
I sure am. The original.
Yeah, but see, that didn't happen at Halloween.
Correct.
Right. So that to me, that's why I just think of it as a good horror movie. I don't think of it as a Halloween movie.
I see what you're saying.
So like, because like I could understand somebody talking about like Halloween, Michael Myers, which is again not my thing. But So, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily... Scream could be any time. And Scream actually, to me, feels very much like a summer movie, to be honest.
I agree.
So
I agree. Their outfits, the weather. I think they're in California, though, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. School is occurring, so I suppose actually it must be September when you think about it, at least. But who's to say because of the season? Because of the weather.
I mean, some of the ones that would be in my roster, but again, they're not like...
Ooh! I got a chill. Not because of what you said.
I didn't think so.
Sorry, continue.
Halloween Town.
Oh, God, yes.
Always a lovely one.
Yes. Double twill.
Oh, my God, there. Thank you. Yes. The Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie, incredible.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Casper is like cute, but again, Casper to me doesn't have to just be a Halloween movie.
Which is funny to me that you think that, since it is
during Halloween. Yes, I know. So, yeah. Now, what are yours?
Well,
I'm sure you're going to say something that I will as well agree on.
Well,
or maybe not, because The Exorcist is a comfort movie for you.
Correct. So, as I talked about last time, yes, The Exorcist and Stigmata. You already mentioned the 4 on my list that we just, discussed. But I also added, these aren't scary movies, but I also just like cozy fall movies. You've got Mail, Mona Lisa Smile, Good Will Hunting, which I think is actually like dribbles into winter. I can't remember. Mystic Pizza and Dead Poets Society.
I've never seen any of those that you just named.
I don't really expect them to be up your alley. But
yeah, all 5 of them I have never seen.
Yeah, not really your speed.
I didn't think so.
Right. What's happening with books lately?
Books, nothing for me.
Yeah. I sort of have similar news. I've been in like a major rut, and by rut, I don't really mean rut. I mean, I am reading 3, love all 3 of them, no complaints whatsoever. But for the past, I don't know, I'd say 3 weeks, going on a month, I can't focus. I am reading, I'm into it, and then I'm rereading the same 3 pages of all 3 books, and it's horrendous.
Yeah, I don't go for that.
I hate it.
I don't like rereading.
The only thing I'll say that's not too bad with that is I'm certainly retaining those areas very well. Not forgetting anything this time.
There is the silver lining.
Right. So I will give you the titles.
I was hoping.
No, you weren't.
No, I wouldn't mind the titles. Go ahead.
Right. If anyone maybe wants to look them up, because they are good.
That is the point of, go for it. What is it?
The London Seance Society.
Okay.
Someone We Know. That one is by Sherry LaPenna. The London Seance Society is by Sarah Penner.
And these are drama or thrillers, I mean?
Yes. Someone We Know is like a domestic thriller.
Okay.
The London Seance Society, I would say, is pretty heavily historical fiction.
I'm out.
Paranormal. Yeah, you wouldn't.
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm out.
And then How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. You will definitely not like, because it goes back and forth present day to back in 1965.
I'm not saying I can't handle it.
No, but it's not
just
a favorite.
not ideal. No, it's not ideal. But yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to books if they're good. It's just I just like the chronological. Just start me off at the beginning of the story and take me to the end.
Well, not to be in that one. But.
And I said what I said about it.
Right.
Well, hey, I appreciate the very bullet-pointed things you've given.
Well, hey, you're welcome.
So.
Now, you were just on a little weekend trip. Is that so?
Yep.
Do tell.
I went camping again.
Yeah.
But I think it is important to state that when I say camping, I do not mean in the wilderness. I mean
I'd say you're in the effing wilderness.
In an RV.
You're not in an RV.
You know better than me where I was. I'm in an RV. So it was climate controlled. I was on a pull-out futon. I had blankets, pillows, a refrigerator. So I'm just trying to say I'm not cooking, a pot over an open flame.
Like in Dennis the Menace.
Sure.
With Walter Matthau in the 90s.
Yes.
It's a nice one.
I will say something that I've experienced now on multiple occasions, and I don't understand, because I think you and I can both agree we've never met an air conditioner we didn't like.
Hell. What would be appropriate for that? Hell no? Hell yes. We can agree, hell yes, that we've never met an air conditioner we didn't like. Hell no. Or hell yes.
I think it's yes.
Right.
Because I'd say you're agreeing. Right.
Right. Now that we cleared that up.
I guess. The point is we both like air conditioning.
Hell yeah.
There we go. And something, though, is going on with me and these people that I stay with. And I'm talking about multiple different people. They keep these RVs like a literal ice box.
Sounds
No, you don't
lovely.
understand. You cannot understand what happened. Last night, I woke up. I probably fell asleep for about an hour because, it's a fun campground. You're out and about. You're coming in late, right? So let's say I go to bed around 12:15.
Right.
I'm waking up a little bit after 3. It was so cold in that RV, and the air conditioning was blowing so hard from the ceiling, like the vent. I was shivering.
I thought you were going to say that you could see your breath.
I didn't have my glasses on, so I don't know.
Get out of here.
I got up to go to the bathroom. I was literally shaking.
Teeth chattering.
Yes. Knees doing their, like,
Wonky.
that buckling kind of thing. I looked for about, 10 minutes for where the hell the thermostat was. I would have turned the whole thing off. I would have just, come what may in the morning, I would have just turned it. It was cold out.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like, here last night was in the 40s. So there, I would imagine, was even colder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes.
So you were
I
probably
didn't imagine it. It
low
was
40s,
right.
mid 40s.
And it was almost colder inside.
Well, yeah.
So
What do you think that's about?
I
with
don't
these
freaking
people?
know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I couldn't find the thermostat.
Right. They hit it.
I reached up to the ceiling, closed the vent myself. Then I went around and found every usable piece of cloth I could to lay on top.
Of yourself.
Yeah, of the blankets that were already. So I think I was about 4 layers deep.
Are we talking like you grabbed anything like washcloths? Anything?
Not a washcloth, but there was a towel. There was what looked to be like a decorative quilt. That
Okay.
that wasn't going to do much, but hey, it's one added layer.
Absolutely. Insulation.
Right, yeah. Because I did hear many years ago, and I've always retained it, that if you had to choose between a big, thick blanket or a few lighter blankets, you should pick the lighter blankets to stay warm because multiple layers insulate heat better.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So I cocooned myself. I did that thing where you lift your legs up so the blanket goes under your...
Hell yeah, I like that.
And then I twisted to one side, I twisted to the other side. I was like a little burrito.
Right.
A grub. And I did end up falling asleep, but I had to put on a hoodie.
And with the hood up.
Yeah. I don't do that ever. I like to be very, I don't want unchained when I sleep.
Unrestricted.
Right.
Yes.
I was tucked very well.
Pulling out all the steps.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that was it. The only other thing I really had to report on was the friend that I was up there with who has the RV. I'm not a dancer. I never have been.
Right.
I never intend to be.
You do a nice shimmy sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
Of course not.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to
see.
be out there,
Yes, right.
And I mean, good for everybody who does. I'm not saying that.
Absolutely.
But for me, it's just not my thing. It's not my speed. He wanted to be out there. And, he had quite a few drinks at that point. So the next morning, I was like, because the night was a little fuzzy for him. And I said,
understandably
right,
so.
of course. And I said to him, I'm like, look, I'm like a bird. You can't cage me on that dance floor. You have to let me fly to you and release me, If you love me, you'll release me. We are not dating, by the way. But he, whatever, he was laughing. And I was like, I said, picture in The Little Mermaid when Ariel goes to Ursula's lair and her tentacles are always around her, like she's always moving her with her. I said, that's what it was like. I was trying to leave the dance floor, and every time I tried to walk away, something was grabbing something.
Nice analogy.
He liked it too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, you know, so it was, all in all, it was a nice camping weekend, and
Good.
You know, I look forward to the week ahead.
Well, I was going to say, now there will be more fall camping excursions.
Well, there will be one more before the season ends, and that will be the Halloween weekend.
Yeah, the big deal weekend.
For me.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Some people are not into Halloween. Or this month in season. It's quite
insane, right?
You're right.
Right. I mean, some people start mourning summer now, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I get why some people prefer it, that's their favorite. But how can you not love this time of year?
I don't know.
You know? All right. So it was my turn this week for a topic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I sure am.
All right.
You hold that microphone at your mouth.
I try to remember.
You're starting to...
I'm starting to get wristy.
Yeah, right. Like you're doing a lasso. I don't like
Wet
it.
noodles. Yes, a lasso. That's nice. Yeah. All right. Now just try to remain calm.
Talia, I'm telling you right now.
I put a lot of thought into this on how to be sensitive towards you. So just
fine.
Wait.
Fine.
Thank you for your patience. I love how everyone's probably listening to
stomach
this,
is so tight right now.
What the hell are you talking about? All right.
Fine.
Now just, I know I do not do this for you, but just listen. Just take a breath.
Fine. I think you're disgusting, though.
I know you do. All right. I'm going to be doing an urban legend today. This is about, kind of, I don't know what to call it, a ghost, a phantom, a spirit that appears in a mirror when someone says her name 3 times in a darkened room. Now, those of you who have been our, just faithful, loyal listeners will know this is a hot topic.
Yeah, it's a damn hot topic.
There was a bit of a reaction recently in an episode that we had. I don't remember which it was.
I don't either. I want to say it was the first episode of the Suicide Forest, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But somehow it was just randomly disclosed that Talia, whenever she's in the bathroom at 1 a.m. washing her hands in front of a mirror, thinks about this certain entity and may or may not say it out loud. And I was absolutely...
I do not say it out loud.
I was absolutely horrified hearing this.
Yeah.
And then you can see I have a bit of a breakdown because when Talia did live with me for a short period of time, I went right to that in my head and I was like, wait a second, you're not doing that here. I was like, no, you didn't do that here. So it was jarring to say the least.
Right.
Now that I've had a bit of a moment to relax a second, I just will make the disclaimer to the chillers. When Talia claims that she put a lot of thought into how to talk about this urban legend without freaking me out more about it, since we are doing it in my home. If we were doing this in a park, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a damn.
I suspect you would, but not to the same level. I don't think you're going to enjoy
I'm not. I don't
to this.
like this concept whatsoever. But if we weren't sitting in a room with a big mirror, I would like it a little more, maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter. I trust that Talia did put some time and energy into figuring out how to do this where I don't feel unsafe.
Attacked, right. And also let me be very clear on, I said this when this topic had originally come up. This came from something. Mary is a person.
She is.
So I'm doing it to honor her.
All right. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to.
So this is the urban legend of the Bloody Mary. That's what people will know it as. And so the just general bits and bobs to start with is that she was potentially a young girl by that name who passed away in the 1800s, and her spirit became attached to a mirror. I'm going to get into like way more details.
I believe you.
So
sadly,
when someone says, the theory is when they say Bloody Mary 3 times, Mary will claw at the victim. So that's pretty disturbing, that thought.
I agree.
Give you that. Scary Mary may have been a witch burned at the stake in Salem. I had never heard that before.
I didn't either.
Mm-hmm. And Scary Mary may be connected to a cult. Did you see what I did there? Did you see? Did you notice?
Yeah, I did. And I like it a lot more now.
You noticed what I did? Not just that. I need to stop speaking in these incomplete sentences that nobody else gets.
I noticed you switched the name.
Not only did
which
I
is
switch,
I already like.
I switched it prior to me saying the original adjective 3 times.
Good.
Right. I thought
Fine.
you'd like that. You're welcome.
I don't want that name ever around.
And I went in my research document and did find and replace, and after the 2 B word Marys, B adjective Marys,
yeah,
I switched
all right,
to
look,
Scary Mary.
All right, and I'm sure a lot of the chillers appreciate that, because let me just say, it wasn't just me who had a horrific reaction. It wasn't just me who had an absolute
People backed you.
Horrific reaction to learning this about Talia.
Yeah.
So, including the person she shares a home with now, and I feel very bad for her.
Ashley was most displeased by this. She was losing her marbles when she heard that I do this. And I don't think I do anything. I think I'm aware, I'm aware of possibilities.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, okay. So we all agree Talia's done a good job at trying to be sensitive.
Thank you. All right. And this is not going to be long at all. But, I just think it's nice to discuss. All right.
I mean, hearing the origins, I suppose.
Because I feel like when you think about a lot of urban legends, like not so much super involved, intricate, I don't know. I can't think of course, an example of that in my head, like what that looks like. But I feel like you never hear about, well, how did it start? Like, where the hell did this come from?
I don't disagree with that. And I mean, I do also, like, it reminds me a little bit of when you hear the original, like, telling of Medusa was like, she was like this monster and whatever, but nobody says how she became the monster. And
freaking awful. I did not learn it. You should do Medusa. I don't want to give anything away in case you do. But I only learned that recently about her. And
I love Greek mythology, man.
I know, you do.
I love it.
You really do. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
Okay. So I'm going to begin with the ritual. So historically, the divination ritual encouraged young women to walk up a flight of stairs backward, holding a candle and a hand mirror in a darkened house. If I did this, I would set the house on fire. I mean, I would fall on my ass so quick and it would all go to hell fast.
Maybe we can get Ashley to upload the picture of our candles.
Oh my God.
Which I do think would pretty much illuminate, pun intended, what you mean when you say that.
Please tell that story.
Talia and I, many, many, many years ago, went on a ghost tour, a tour.
2 or 3.
And it was one where, you walked around a cute little town and they gave you candles. And the way they gave you the candles was that they gave you like a I think they were red taper candles.
I was just going to say, very unsafe what came with it, but continue.
Well, let me get to it. And they punched holes in plastic drink cups.
Class.
But they weren't, they were see-through, obviously. And, so I guess it was so that people wouldn't get the wax, like burned by the wax as it dripped. And clearly, it was very clearly told to keep your candles upright at all times.
Keep an eye on things. No willy-nilly.
Right. So we were, I don't know, halfway through or whatever and listening to the stories and whatever, and it was nice and stuff. And then I just remember, though, looking over at Talia, and I'm
oblivious. I'm looking probably up at the sky.
Well, I think you were probably looking in one of the windows of what the woman was talking about, but I saw her just so nonchalantly holding that candle at a very even 45-degree angle.
Like what I do with the mic, if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. 45 degrees, that candle was burning a hole right through that plastic. And I was like, hey. And she goes, huh. Like she snaps her attention away from the window. Huh. I said, I just like looked down at the candle that she's holding. And so anyway, we ended up taking a picture by the end just to show
the difference
of the candles. And I'm sure if I look hard enough, I can find that picture. So,
oh my God,
maybe
so
we
funny.
can upload it with this episode.
Yes,
but
that is an excellent idea.
So she's not joking when she says she would burn down the house.
Oh, totally.
Now, I'm assuming you haven't said this yet, or unless I just missed it, you didn't say what they're divining yet, right?
No.
Okay.
No. It gets pretty disturbing. Now, maybe you won't find it. I think this next thing that I'm going to say is just like, wait, what? Like when I was reading this, I'm thinking, this is so odd. Like this is so, I'm just surprised by this little, I don't know, piece of history, I suppose, or where this originated. Okay. So up a flight of stairs backward, holding a candle and a hand mirror in a darkened house. As they gaze into the mirror, they're supposed to catch a glimpse of their future husband's face.
That's what I thought.
Let's unpack that. You freaking heard that before.
I have heard that.
I never heard it. Don't you find it fascinating that this would be connected somehow to a woman who's going to come after you in the mirror and attack you? Don't you find that fascinating?
Well, I'm assuming something happened to this girl when she was trying to do it. Is that why it's connected? I mean, you don't have to tell me now, but I have definitely heard, and I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if it had to do with going up steps backwards, but I have definitely heard that they used to do that. But there's so many of those, like putting something, you make a special like pouch of things, you put it under your pillow, you're supposed to dream about your future husband, or like a bunch of different things. But I was almost certain you were going to say that's what would appear in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Who the hell though wants to see a strange face in a mirror behind them while they're going up the steps backwards in the dark?
Absolutely. I mean, how many women have broken their necks this way back then? They must have. If they didn't break their necks and die, they may have broken their backs and lived. Tragic.
It doesn't sound great.
Now, I didn't fully tell you the whole story. Now, so the thought is they're either going to see that, or there is also a chance that they're going to see a skull, which is, I don't know if this was like an and or, I suppose it is, or the Grim Reaper's face. That was going to indicate that they would actually die before they get married. So that kind of makes more sense to me. In terms of a legend, you know what I mean? Like sort of like a future predictor of, will you even make it to that point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Right. So in present day, Scary Mary appears to people who ritualistically invoke her name. It's done by repeating her name 3 times in a mirror placed in a candlelit room or dimly lit.
Fine. Okay, candle lit I could get behind.
Now, this is...
And I do have a candle lit right there.
Right, but the mirror ready to go.
I just noticed.
Ready and waiting. Now, this I think you'll like.
All right, let's hear it.
There's a big theme to not doing this 3 times, but to be doing it 13 times.
I like the sound of that.
Right, I knew you would. Right. Okay, so if the Scary Mary apparition were to appear, the different images are a corpse, a witch, or a ghost I also think you'll like this. And she could be friendly.
Well, I think that's nice.
Or evil or a demonic spirit.
Right.
Also, sometimes she's covered in a substance that we won't mention, hence where
obviously
one of the nicknames came from. People have reported that when this has worked for them, the apparition screams at them, curses at them, attempts to strangle them, attempts to steal their soul. I'm not sure how that goes down. Attempts to drink their blood or scratch their eyes out. There are other examples of, like in other cultures, she's called other things. So the people use those terms instead. I will not mention them.
Perfect.
But just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I sounded Swedish there. You betcha, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so now, did you know that if you sit in a dimly lit room and stare at a mirror for a prolonged period, it is thought to invoke hallucinations? Take Scary Mary out of it.
Yeah.
You're just camping out in front of this mirror here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Right, but I didn't know that. I guess why would I? But I've never heard that.
Something about that, again, sounds a little familiar, but like, I have zero interest in ever
searching this further.
Right.
Well, and what I think is too fascinating is, people believe that she then appears. However,
now, do you think this is too fascinating or fascinating also?
Fascinating as well.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Yes. But like, people think she's appearing. However, if you're hallucinating because you're staring at this mirror for a prolonged period in a dimly lit area, your own facial features will appear to quote unquote melt.
Hell
they
yeah.
will be distorted.
Right.
They'll disappear. They'll freaking rotate, So like, it could appear as an animal face, a strange face, not your own face, so I think that was interesting. It's an interesting point in terms of who Mary could be.
Okay, yeah, this is what I'm interested in.
Right.
I'm curious.
Right.
Cautiously curious.
Cautious. That just reminded me. So one of the things that Brent and I say to each other if we're describing certain situations, like if we're in a new environment or we're meeting new people and we I feel like this is an okay example, I guess. When
I guess we'll find out.
We're describing how it felt in the room. And we'll be like, yeah, it seemed nice. It was okay. We were having a nice time. And then the other one will be like, right, you were cautious. We'll say that to each other because when Brent and I first met, which we were around each other sort of peripherally before we started talking. And then there was a day that Brent, I was going to say you boldly introduced yourself. You our paths had to cross for our jobs.
Yes.
And I didn't quite know what to make of him.
Right.
So I tell him this though, years after.
And years and years later.
And I said, yeah, I mean, I was cautious about you.
I thought you said I wasn't scared, but I was cautious.
I wasn't freaking scared. Oh my God. All right, wait, let me get back to my notes. All right. So, there's of course debate surrounding who she actually was, different theories. So a number of historical figures have sort of been nominated to thought to be her.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying this right. Would you say Mary the First of England? Is that how that would read?
I mean, I don't know if you do.
Funny.
Do you ever have to say the first if it's not the first? Or
Excellent
if it is the first?
Because if I'm saying Mary the Second,
right?
Mary the First.
So Queen Mary of England is what you're saying?
Well, the daughter of Henry VIII.
I don't freaking know.
I thought you knew about them.
Oh,
I totally
from
thought
that
you were going
Broadway
to
show.
educate me.
No,
Okay.
From the Broadway show. I mean, I love the music from Six.
No idea what you're talking about.
The wives that got their heads.
Oh, Oh, shit.
Right?
What
That
year?
was who you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Mary, the first, because I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or
well,
not.
we'll accept it.
Thank you. Is Catherine of Aragon and Henry VIII's daughter.
Yes. Well, she's in the musical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary. No,
Catherine.
Okay.
The one who got sent away to a nunnery.
Oh.
I think.
Good memory, man.
I only know it because of the song.
What is it? Oh, in the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Mary, the first, had around 300 Protestant dissenters burned at the stake during her reign. So she got the nickname Scary Mary because of that. So I think that's a pretty big clue that leaning towards that's our girl.
Yeah, right. Ooh. Okay.
I do not know how to pronounce this name, and I'm so sorry I did not remember to look it up and have this right in time for the podcast today. Elizabeth Bathory. I was hoping you knew this.
No.
I don't think that's right then. So please, anyone who knows what they're talking about, correct me. She was a 17th century Hungarian countess who allegedly burned, tortured, and killed around 660 girls and women. A woman.
Just for the hell of it?
Well, she was accused of being a vampire.
Oh.
Yeah, she bathed in their blood afterwards, which...
Yikes.
I know. And I wanted to talk then about this topic. So Ashley and I started watching season 2 of Interview with a Vampire, the show.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched it?
Only the original movie.
What do you think about that? I wanted to ask
The original
you that
movie?
as well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Kirsten Dunst.
Right.
Who were the men that Brad Pitt
Tom
man?
Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yes, he was Lestat. Question
I
mark.
don't even remember their names right now, but Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Right. Louis, I think, was Brad
Yes,
Pitt.
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's Louis and Lestat. Claudia was Kirsten Dunst. Yeah. So Ashley's mom loves Anne Rice as an author. So does Ashley. And they love the books. And Ashley's mom bought them for me for Christmas one year. And I have not been able to get through all of them. Like, there's something, I think Anne Rice is an excellent author, excellent writer, but it's very difficult for me to get into it and kind of follow it. But you've never read anything by her? Yeah. I
know she also has the witch book, The Mayfair Witches, which is also
I didn't know that.
Netflix.
Yeah.
But
did you watch it?
No, because I'm still getting through Discovery of Witches.
What is that?
Another book. That's on Netflix.
As a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know. So, yeah, we're currently watching season 2 of that. We watched season 1. I feel like it wasn't even last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago, but maybe I'm wrong and it was last year, I guess, because this season just came out. But excellent acting. Very well done. I'm disappointed, though, that I didn't read all of the books to kind of grasp what they're doing with the show, but also they're going in like different kind of like modern direction, a modern direction in the show. It's very well done though. So highly, strongly recommend.
Noted.
Right. Okay. Other woman I would like to mention is Mary Worth, which I won't say that last name again, but that is one of the terms that people use when they are doing their thing in front of the mirror. That is like the full thing that some circles say. So she is a woman. This is a little weird to me, and I didn't dig deeper on it, but it's sort of unclear on who she was. Specifically, the two theories are she was someone who killed slaves who were escaping the American South via the Underground Railroad, or she was a woman who was burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials.
Those are pretty different.
Correct.
That's two ends of the spectrum, baby.
Majorly different. Right.
That's like, well, so they were a serial killer or she played Big Bird on Sesame Street. I mean, quite the swath.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it led me to, I want to discuss this. And I don't even know what I mean exactly by I want to discuss it, but
I believe it.
The Salem witch trials, we went to Salem. It was a nice time. I thought if we want to talk about anything funny or anything anything lovely from that trip, we could mention.
Well, we
within
did.
Reason. We did in the beginning of just that funny store story.
Right.
Right. I mean, very lovely in town. Pretty packed.
Oh my gosh. Well, we were there this time of year,
correct.
so.
Right.
I mean, walking past the graves, super sad.
Oh, gosh, yes. I wish I sort of could remember, like, I don't know. I feel like, knowing me, I wasn't shutting the hell up during that, and I would like to walk through there, zipping it, and just trying to kind of feel things, you know? I feel like I didn't do that then.
I don't remember you not shutting up, but I don't remember that you did.
I think it's safe to say that I did not.
So
that's pretty much what we can always safely assume. I loved seeing the Hocus Pocus house, Allison's house.
Of course.
Wasn't also the home in, God, I haven't seen this movie in so long, high school, possibly college, probably college, American Beauty. Isn't the house from that? I might be making that
Never
up, but I
saw
thought
it.
it was like a few doors down and people were saying that. I don't know. All right. Anything else you want to say about our Salem trip?
I don't. I'm ill prepared.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm catching you off guard. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, not really. It was a nice trip. I would recommend anybody go.
Right.
So.
Okay. Now, I have a very lovely Golden Girls connection to make here.
Oh wow.
I can't totally take credit for it. Ashley thought of it.
Okay.
But God, she was on the ball with this, man, and I'm delighted to discuss it. Okay, so I'm going to bring up one more real life Mary, which connects to why there's this mirror connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 1800s, there was a young girl named Mary. An illness took over the town. Multiple people died suddenly after a very brief period of time of being, I should say, sick. So at that time, when doctors could not find someone's pulse, they would put a mirror under their nose to see if there would be condensation if those people were believed to be dead. And then if they were still breathing, one would assume there's going to be condensation on the mirror. You follow?
I follow.
All right. So there were occasions during this time where there was no condensation and these people were alive, though.
I don't like that.
Right. So there were instances where people would be buried alive.
I thought that's where you were going.
Right. So because
With the
of
bells.
Yes. So, you know.
Oh, that's what this story is too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that this story had the bells in it.
Oh, how do you know about the bells then? Just that period of time that this would happen.
Why they would put bells there.
Right. With the strings.
Yes.
Okay. So I never knew about this. What?
You're adjusting your glasses with your microphone hand.
Well, I gotta see, man. I'm blind as a bit.
I truly don't know what we're going to do about this, but go ahead.
Maybe we should play that game. Well, we shouldn't play the game, but like in college, there was this game called Edward 40 Hands, like Edward Scissorhands. You know what I'm saying? With Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Do you know the game?
No.
You would not be a fan, I don't believe. And they would tape, like duct tape, 40s, like the malt liquor 40 bottles,
Okay.
40 ounces, to your hands. And you had to drink both 40s before you could do anything. So, like, you can't pee, you can't wipe yourself, you can't...
You can't wipe yourself.
you can't use your hands. So they called it Edward 40.
Well, that sounds stupid as hell.
It was. So maybe you should tape the microphone to
But you don't
my
understand.
chest.
I was going to say, if not, it's not about your hands. We should truly look for the ones that have a headset for you. Like just like you're a telemarketer at this point, because I thought it would be cool to have the handheld mics and like we can keep them at our face. You don't play by those rules.
No, I can't be stipped. I'm wild.
All right, finish your story, please.
All right. So Mary sadly passed away.
Fine.
She was buried. I don't want to not give her the respect she deserves, but there's just a lot to this story that I don't think we have to get into. All in all, oh no, actually I do want to get into it because I want to tell the chillers if they don't know about this. So the string is buried with the people. It's attached to a bell because if these people were buried alive, this is how they would notify. It's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
That freaks me out
it's
so
horrible.
much.
They would notify their family members like, hey, I'm actually alive down here, like cease and desist.
Right. You'd literally be hearing a ringing bell in a graveyard.
Right. So unfortunately, though, so this happened to her. She was actually alive. Pulled the string. Parents were not home. Allegedly, the neighbor who lived near the family was too far to be able to hear the bell. Nobody got to her in time. So she ferociously tried to survive. I mean, so I think that's too where this like clawing of Mary.
Tried to claw her way out.
Yes,
Good
exactly.
Lord.
Which I think then that's the connection to the clawing of the victims. And when you think about it, like I always think of like spirits or ghosts, like kind of like when you're trying, like if you're having a dream yourself, like this happens to me. I hate every second of it. I'm trying to talk in it. I can't. Like I
bet that would be a nightmare for you. I bet that would be real scary for you.
It's like all garbled. No one can understand me. I get so angry in the dream. Now, meanwhile, I'm like getting murdered. Like that really should be my first issue, but I'm upset because the murderer can't understand me and what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Mm-hmm. So, why am I telling you this? So, what was I saying?
She was clawing her way out.
Yeah.
You think ghosts and spirits.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. So, like, with this apparition, and she's then clawing at this potential victim, who's chanting, repeating whatever the name, it's kind of like her wires are getting crossed. Like, she should not be attacking this person who's saying it 3 times, even though they do want to see her. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like her signals are getting fuzzy.
What's the other signal that's getting crossed?
Well, she's going back to when she died.
Oh, fine.
Trying to survive, and now it's coming through a mirror at this unsuspecting person who does want to see her and wants her to appear, but also doesn't want to get their eyes clawed out themselves in front of the mirror. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you make a valid point. Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so...
Sadly, I am following.
How does that feel? All right, so she began clawing at the coffin, fingers bled, kept scratching, cut herself until obviously she breathed her last breath.
Well, now let me ask you this.
Okay.
Statistically speaking...
You couldn't wait.
No, it's not a statistic question, but it is a legit question.
Right.
If nobody was home, how did they know this happened?
Excellent question. Let me go back to the tapes.
I sort of feel like that's what the legend is. Because it's like, I mean, I get what you're saying. She's buried in a family plot.
But they'd never know any of this happened.
Exactly.
You're correct.
She rings the bell. Nobody hears it. The neighbors don't hear it. She scratches. Like, unless it was like literally they had to exhume the body for some reason.
All right, I found it. They claim that the bell was yards away from where it originally was because by her frantic pulling.
All right, I'll accept that answer.
That's what they. I had to rub my nose.
I just can't.
I had to.
This episode is going off the rails so bad.
I had an itch. All right, so when they unlatched the coffin, they found her. Now they're saying in a petrified state. Her hands like claws. I don't know about that. I took it to be petrified like a mummy, but that would be mummified. Petrified wood. I think I got my signals crossed. I guess they meant literally scared, terrified. They meant legit petrified because her hands were in like a claw formation.
Right. I'm assuming they're trying to say rigor mortis ended up setting in
before they got
she died
to
in
her.
That state of claws.
Yes.
And so that's how her body was shaped, and then rigor mortis set in and kept her that way. But who the hell am I to say
exactly.
that? I don't know.
But excellent question that you asked. That was good. So also, allegedly, they put a mirror under her nose at that point to see if there were any breaths. Exactly. Well, and condensation was shown on the mirror, even though she was dead. So they're saying that her spirit attached to this mirror, hence the mirror connection.
Wow.
Now, after that long road, convoluted road.
I mean, but to me, that's the best story I've heard you say.
Well, thank you.
I mean, what I'm saying is, The other references
I know what you
basically were
Weak.
way vague.
Right.
This one was, this one sounds like a movie.
Pretty spit on. Maybe it is one, we just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So real quick, I promise I'm done after this. The Golden Girls connection.
Yeah.
Which you obviously knew
I
instantly.
certainly do.
Right. It is my personal favorite episode of the show. It's one of your favorites, but
It's
not
my
your
second favorite.
What's your first?
Sick and Tired, parts
Yes.
1 and 2.
I knew that. I'm sorry. What's my second? I was just about to say it. Oh, I know. Henny Penny. Okay, anyway. So my first episode, my first favorite episode. My favorite episode ever is, what is it? The Murder Mystery Weekend. So those of you who are true Golden Girls fans know.
The Case of the Libertine Bell.
Yes. Thank you for the name of the episode.
Sure.
Those of you who are familiar, I'm sure know instantly I'm referring to when Blanche is accused of killing, I can't remember his name. My favorite episode, I can't freaking remember it.
Yeah, well, her boss.
Yes.
But whatever, whoever he was, I
Right.
forget.
He's dead. And then Rose uses the mirror.
Do you want me to take
the
this?
defogger is sprayed. And Dorothy said, yeah, please do.
What a horrible way to tell that story. Basically, it's a murder mystery weekend. Blanche is accused of killing her boss. Dorothy comes in and holds a hand mirror under the man's nose to see if condensation comes. And
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And she says, yeah, every morning I hold this under Ma's nose, and if it fogs up, I start the coffee. And so then later on, it is discovered that the hotel staff asked Rose to spray defogger on the mirror.
And it was Rose's like sharp moment of like
Right.
fooling everybody.
Right. That's what Talia was trying to say.
Yeah, it took me a little. Well, I never did actually. I
Right.
never said it. All right, and that's it. That's my episode.
Well, chaotic as hell. But
I liked it.
it wasn't as uncomfortable for me as I thought.
I am happy to hear that. I hope everyone else agrees with you who has similar thoughts about Scary Mary. And may I just say, rest in peace to Scary Mary, whoever you are.
Of course, whoever started that,
Yes.
wherever that came from,
Yes.
sure. Mm-hmm. You know?
I hope she has found peace. I wish her all the
And
best.
people should stop bugging her.
I agree. I do agree with that.
That includes you.
No, I'm not. I'm just open to.
You go, I agree.
I'm not trying
But
to.
hey, I'll see you at 1 p.m. tonight. Ridiculous.
I am open to a visit, is all I'm saying.
You're sick.
I'm not
I can't believe
trying
you
to
even
harass
said.
her. I am a little bothered myself that I just used that term open. That probably was not the best idea.
Ashley's not going to like that at all. Wow.
Well, I don't go to the bathroom supervised, so that should be fine. You know?
We're ending it there, folks. I don't want to talk about this anymore. We were doing so good until right at the end.
I thought that was appropriate. Because we seem to think.
All right, listen, everybody. I'm going to take us home. Thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Chillworthy with Brett and Talia. As always,
Stay safe.
and stay chill, and we will catch you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You've just listened to Chillworthy. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode. While we strive to keep our discussions engaging and lighthearted, we also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the real lives and events that are at the heart of these stories.
We try to approach each topic with a sense of curiosity and respect, fully aware of the impact these events have had on the individuals and their loved ones. Our goal is to honor their memories by keeping their stories alive and shedding light on the mysteries that surround them.
If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and don't forget to join us on the next episode of Chillworthy.